Stop Now. I'm JK, your host for this week talk show, and I'm joined by Mohammed and Shiva. Hi, Mohammed.
Hi everyone.
Hi JK. Hi everybody.
All right, so we are going to miss Nate this week, and he is busy, but because it's going to be a long weekend, people who are not in US, they may not be aware of it. They have this Memorial Day, so we celebrate that, and that's one reason like our team was not ready for this weekend, but still we managed to pull this up. And hopefully Amar and others, Zulkar or Zain, if they want to join, they are welcome to join. So we are trying to stream this and live. Here we go. The minute I was saying Amar is joining. But Mohammed, going forward, you and me are going to have a show being hosted. So you are going to be the co-host. So why don't you
Yeah,
tell us about the experience you had for the last 1 month, and we are coming to a full circle.
yeah. The experience has been quite fantastic. I was first given the profile of Peter, who was supposed to be a US citizen, and later I took up the profile of Ramji, who is an H-1B candidate. So the whole process of this experiment was to see the discrimination and the difficulties the H-1B candidate have while finding the job. So I almost had, 5 times more opportunities as a US candidate, US citizen candidate, as comparing to H-1B. So still, I've been getting response for H-1B candidate as well, but there is a lot of difficulty finding job for these H-1B candidates. And apart from that, if you are able to find a job as well, so you still have to be, you still be paid by your employer. So whatever you are promised. So doesn't matter how much you earn, you're still tied to your employer. No matter how much time you spend there. That's my take, and this is what we been doing for the previous 1 month or so.
Shiva, over to you. So you are on mute.
Mm,
Amar, welcome again.
Yeah,
We are coming to an end of this
yeah,
experiment. So without you, it will not be a full circle. So you have the uh, first, I wouldn't say like first, a volunteer who made it as a guinea pig and trying to do it for a longer period, but still couldn't get anything. We'll come back to you. Shiva, what is your take on
yeah.
the experiment we have been doing so far?
Yes, I think they do the best what they can do. But I don't believe the experiment will impact on social. And my thought it will keep funding as on our NGO. But I don't think social experiment will bring some social impact. That's my thought. Yeah.
Yes, I mean, it's too early for us, right? So we are just not even a startup company, kind of, I would say. You rightly pointed it out, yes, for nonprofit funding purpose, we can use this, exploit the similar way, right? So how every other business does it. And we can also do fraud, and we are going to expose that and show that, like, see, come on, we can do fraud and we can earn money, but that's not the whole point. How do we stop these things? That's exactly what. And I want this to be more fun conversation among us. Before I go to Amar, I wanted to ask, even Muhammad has been converted to Christianity and then like to now Hindu. Hey Ram, now he's going to say like, I'm Ram. Is this the part of a game like Shiva you wanted to play with?
Well, here in Pakistan, this would be a very sensitive thing to do. But I'm more kind of liberal kind of person. So
Mm,
this is just an experiment, right? The matter of faith
mm,
is between me and God, right?
mm,
So
mm,
it is where it is. This is just part of an experiment. You can convert me
mm,
to,
mm.
Christianity or Hinduism or Buddhism, whatever you want. So it's just an
uh,
experiment.
Okay, disclaimer, right? I am not in any way responsible for this. Like, I am not converted to Hinduism, or I don't
Yeah,
know, like whether the Hinduism exists or not. But Hey Ram is a popular term in India, and you know that better than anybody else. Having fight with the Indians and Pakistans are always Amar. What is your take? Let's move on, right? I don't want to
yeah.
make this as a controversy, and we lost many people, and I don't want to lose Mohammed right away, right? I just said like you and me are going to have a hosting show, and
yes,
you
yes,
will say like,
yes.
the minute JK pissed me off, like I'm going
Uh,
off.
No, I'm not. I'm
I
not.
don't think, yes,
I already said I'm not the kind of radical person you would find out.
yes,
So I'm more kind of a liberal person. I'm open to arguments and
yes.
controversies as well.
Hmm.
So it's all right. I can take that.
And like Mohammed, like what do you think about the social experiment? Did you believe it will impact something on the social or what we are doing? I don't
Uh,
think like. What's your thought?
you see, social problems they don't have a solution, right?
Hmm.
So I mean, there have been fights against racism since a lot of years. If you look back at history, right? So it still exists. Racism, even racism, which is a big issue all over the world, everyone knows about it. Governments have been funding
Hmm.
organizations and all that. Every athletes, athletes and actors and all the celebrities, everyone is doing their part to eradicate this problem of racism. The problem is these social problems, they won't, just go out like that. It's all about awareness, right? So the more people are aware, the less the problem becomes, right? So more people are aware about racism, and there are strict laws to it, and we will see a decline in that. But you yourself know it still exists. So about this experiment, I guess the more we do it, the more awareness we create, but the problem would still be there.
No, no. For one point, like we started to victim ourselves, but it going to become a trafficker now. Is it a right way it's going, or what is that?
I guess we just did.
I will jump in here, Mohammed.
Mm,
Right?
Yes,
Like,
yeah,
they have
yes,
volunteered, right? Amar, Mohammed,
mm.
Dulkar,
Yeah, mm.
over, right? So
Yeah,
who have
mm.
involved in our in the background, right? Those who want to
Mm.
be behind the scene,
Mm.
still not convenient, like to face the camera or say their name, right? Reveal their identity
Mm.
because they are doing the
Mm.
projects and they don't want to get exposed. They are not victims as such, right? We are playing the
Mm.
role of victims, right? For example,
Yeah.
Mohammed said, right? I am trying to be an
Mm.
H1B candidate for Ram, and for Peter, I
Mm.
tried to be a US citizen, or even Nate
Mm.
volunteered, right? So the volunteers cannot be victimized, or they cannot be put into the category of victim or a trafficker. So your point is
Mm.
we are doing the same thing like what the trafficker are doing, right? So that's the
Yeah, yeah,
question you are asking. But
mm.
how do
Yeah.
we mimic, right? We are recreating the scenario that is happening in the real world.
Mm.
So we have
Mm.
to do both the sides, right? It's like you're
Mm.
taking a movie and you are saying like one person is a villain, somebody has to act the villain, right? So that's how like we
Mm.
are, to answer your question, we end up doing both. And it might look like, okay, we are on the bad side. It's not
No,
a
that's the thing, JK. Like, my point is like when we are volunteering, my thought, like it's my thought, like if we are volunteering or if we get for do something like if we get paid for something, we are actually in a crime. So doing this as a victim, as an act of victim or something to record it or some, and finally we get the pay for it, there is no use of it because
question. Got it.
top.
Okay,
Mm,
Mohammed is a law student and he's
yeah.
a lawyer. He can answer
Mm,
that, right? So let's
mm,
say, right, if we are doing this as an undercover operation, that's how like we started this, right? So as an
mm,
investigative piece, we hear the stories of the victims and they are fed up going to the government and filing a complaint and getting no results. We just show that in the Nate case as well, right? We just filed a complaint. What just happened? Nothing, right? They just an automated reply saying that like, you go fuck yourself. I'm sorry for my French. Again, you find your own way to or look for paying somebody to get justice, right? That's not what a victim will be able to do it. So it's like we are not blaming anybody else, right? We are not saying anything, right? And we are not
No,
recording these things and going to the corporates and saying that, oh, we have recorded this, and we are not blackmailing them to get money from them, right? We are just doing the same thing as everybody else does, right? That is the experiment. I can also make fraudulent things and make money, and we are going to show that, right? We are going to show that as a proof, and then we will know that like what will be the impact, as you are saying. I don't want to take this much, but I will leave it to Mohammed to answer that.
like Mohammed, before starting my point, like my view of it, like if something we want to against the crime, like if somebody raped it or we want to against the rape, then we want to showcase the rape again, and we want to be like become a victim or a rapist. It's the same crime, I think. What's your point?
First of all, it is not same crime.
It's a human trafficking.
Okay, so first of all, these two things don't correlate, right? Trafficking is a totally different thing. Rape is totally different thing, right? So about this thing, so if we are doing this experiment, right? So you are saying your problem is that we are getting paid for that. Money is the byproduct, right? While we are doing this experiment, we cannot just do this experiment and we cannot just do this experiment, do the jobs and all that, and just deny to get the money, right? We cannot do that. It has to come like it is coming in the normal routine to every other candidate, right? So every other organization which is being paid regularly, so will we be paid, right? So we cannot just deny that. In that way, they will be getting suspicious about that. And you asking that if that is a crime or not, right? So we are not causing harm to anyone, I would say, in that. We are getting paid though for that, but again, for the time when we public it, when we just try to expose them, there has to be a certain amount of transparency of the amount that we gathered from there. And again, we can use those resources to expose them more, right? To hire more people to do more investigative kind of things like we are doing. So we can use that for exposing them. That's the whole point. We are not taking it for our own luxury. We are not using that money for our own. So if we are taking that money, and in return, we are doing the jobs that they are asking us to do, right? So we are doing those jobs. So I don't think, I mean, if they're not getting harm, that is totally different case as you compared it with rape.
So exactly, right? So the Shiva's point is he is getting confused with, see, every case
No,
is
no. One thing. Wait. Like, if human trafficking is not a thing, like a crime, or I don't want to compare with rapist or human trafficking. Like, when we say about human trafficking, some like kid trafficking is there. Kids can be sold for a slave or some other household servant or something.
Mhm.
Like, if we want to uh, go investigate on that, whether we want to become a trafficker and want to showcase it, and we say like, when we get the money for the trafficker as a kids selling or something.
no, I'm trying to understand your logic here, right? So this is not a straightforward investigation like Aman or anybody else who is doing on the human trafficking thing, right? So it's not going to the company and asking them to sponsor you or as you are saying, right, there are different categories, right? It can come under child labor, what you're referring to. Somebody, the parents or relatives are selling the kid for their, or they are being kidnapped or smuggled. So many categories can come under the law, right? Law enforcement, when somebody goes and complains, then only action will be taken, right? All the other things will continue, right? You can also go and sell your kid, right? Nobody is going to, unless your child is going to go to the police, or the relative or anyone goes and reports that this is happening here, then they will start the investigation, right? So that is why, like, we need some first information report filed by someone else on to start the investigation. Otherwise, these things will continue to happen in the society, right?
No,
So
that's the thing. That's the thing I am saying, for like the same what we are doing the experimental project, investigate it, and we can just work and we can investigate. When we get money from the company, what they are trafficker are doing, and I think it should be same as what they are doing.
that will, the clause will come into law when we go to the court, right? See, as long as we publish all these things and do whatever nonsense we want to do, and nobody finds that as an offensive, they think that, like, okay, fine. Just a simple example, right? Will Smith, we talked about that as well in Oscar. Like, he went ahead and he slapped Chris Rock, right? So everybody thought that as a fun and joke, and they laughed at it and they moved on. They didn't do anything more than that. It's not a crime, but people argue that, right? Even Jim Carrey went ahead and filed a case against Will Smith, and also saying that, like, he has to be sued, and this, because it is a violence. Some people think that it is a violence, it's a crime. If it's not Will Smith, somebody else, like, goes and hits him on the stage, he would have been arrested. Case would have been filed, right? Same thing, right? Even whether we are going to get the payment, to your point, right now we did the project, right? Why we are ending this experiment as soon early or putting a pass to it? The reason is we worked for 3 months and we are held hostage by the corporates and they have not paid us. The payment has not been released, right? Now you have the option to fight it out and ask for the payment, right? And work has been done, whether it has been done illegally or legally, that doesn't matter. That's the beauty of this country, right? How so many millions of illegals are surviving in this country. You are saying that they are illegal, right? How do they get paid, right? Who is paying them? The employer who is paying the illegals, they have to be prosecuted, right? Why do you pay money to an illegal person? So you are also part of the crime, to your same logic, right? So everybody can be put into the jail then. Court or law doesn't care all those things, right? So when you, correct me if I'm wrong, Mohammed, when you go into the court and the case has been on that, the particular accusation, what has been you accused of, and are you able to plead guilty or come out of it saying that, like, you're not guilty, that is all it matters. That is the reason, like, people are free to do whatever they want, and it is a matter of money, right? It's just a, financial transaction, and the companies will say, like, okay, something somewhere, some wrong has happened. They will even plead guilty and they will be ready to pay fine. Corporations does it, right? They pay millions and billions.
Yeah, I would like to
Go
add a
on.
couple of things here. The first thing I want to tell is, Shiva, if as per your logic, we should not be demanding the money for the projects that we've been doing. Let's say if you would have done the projects and we would have never waited for the money, who would have known that these companies hold you hostage for 3 months for the payment, right? We would have never known that. So as I say, we're in part of discovery. The more we get into it, the more we know what is going on, right? So nobody would have known that these companies don't even pay you even after the project has ended. I mean, 3 or 4 months have been passed after the project. They won't pay you. Nobody would have known, right? So it is only as much as we can do, right? So another thing is that I would like to give you the example of ethical hacking. I believe you're aware of that, right? It is kind of the same thing, right? So it is kind of, I would relate it to ethical hack. So if nobody is going to do something like that we are doing, I mean, people would never be aware of how things are going.
Yeah, to Mohammed's point, rightly caught the thing, right? So if we don't commit those things and expose it, right? Just like ethical hacking, or just you penetrate, infiltrate into the organization and get those things and be a whistleblower. Obviously, victims have to be compensated, right? So if we are playing the victim, this is what we are getting paid for, right? We are not paid handsome, or we are not paid in a huge lump sum amount or the salary that we deserve. It's like, that's why, like, as a non-profit, we are taking a small whatever contribution, rewards or compensation we are provided with, right? Even in police, right, undercover operation, right, they are to be paid, right? For, even if you are saying like, I'm going to serve for my country, when you are a patriot, you still have to be paid, right? And who will come and fight for you, right? Nobody will fight for you. So everywhere it is a monetary transaction. In this, that is why, like, in our social experiment, we are saying, like, even in the non-profit world, they exploit people somehow to say like, oh, come and volunteer with us, give us your service for free. And all nonprofits are making money. They are raising donations for saying some cause or the other, right? So how do they justify that? So that is where, like, I don't find any fault in what we are doing it. But to your point, how this is going to blow up or how it's going to create an impact, we still don't know that. Right? We haven't started publishing anything. So that is one thing we need to work in the next few months and find out, like, if we can get this ball rolling with creating an impact with whatever we have done, right? So all the big companies, that has to be named out, called out. And if we don't do that, then it becomes a secretive mission where we wanted to make money and we are not exposing it. So that is where, like, the dichotomy remains. So let's jump into Amar, because he has been on hold for a long time. Go ahead, Amar.
Yeah.
Share your thoughts.
Yeah, thank you, JK. Yeah, from my experience, I want to share some. I am doing this experiment for last 3 months, and yes, I gathered many experience by doing this experiment. And the first month when I was entered this experiment, and that's time I did the role for net profile. I mean, US citizen profile. That's time after 1 month struggling, I got 3 jobs at a time. You know that. You should agree with that. And after that, when net profile has sensed, and I use then I use maybe Peter's profile. Then I struggle with sometimes for H1B candidate, and then someone join like Mohammed or any other person. And that's time currently I am using profile by my own name. So as a H1B candidate, so it's really a struggle part for all of us as a H1B candidate. Most of them recruiter, they submitted my profile. Yesterday someone also confirmed me that he submitted my profile for the client Infosys, and one for TCS, and they told me that yes, you will be face an interview soon. That's type. So I think, yeah, it's very difficult. It's a discrimination between a US citizen or green card or H1B candidate actually. That's my point.
Yes. So, Amar, just to make it much clear and easier for everyone to understand, right? So, US citizen, no matter what, they have the right. They have the
Yes.
first preference, right?
Right.
So we included that, like, just to show that, okay, it's much easier for US citizen to get a job, right? So that's a known fact. And obviously, you don't have to tell that, right? We don't have to experiment that. and we wanted to test it out, experiment internally, and see like if Nate is willing to be part of this. He was hosting the show. That's how we ended up using his uh, identity, and it's not his original profile, right? And again, all these things are fake. The question here is like, why can't companies who are hiring people cannot validate whether it's the original profile or not before hiring somebody else? So that itself is at fault, right? It's not about your status or your citizenship or you are an immigrant or non-immigrant. The minute companies are going to validate your experience, then it becomes tough for any non-immigrant to get these kind of jobs that we are showcasing it as you can get it. So it runs to millions, and all the companies are involved in that. So they will come back at us and say like, "Hey, what is your problem, man? Right? We are all making money and we are all millionaires and billionaires. So you just do the same thing and you make money. Why do you get troubled in this?" That will be their answer. Unless somebody gets pissed off and goes against us, this is not going to be considered as a crime. So to your point, you have to focus on as such, right? As an immigrant or as a non-immigrant on visa. That was our campaign, right? The H-1B has to be stopped. So that is our whole idea about it. But the US government will not agree to it, right? They even right now with the Biden administration, they have come up with new regulations and new options to fast track the green card process, and also like for H-1B candidates, make it simple, because they have the fear, right? If they go back to their country for stamping and they don't have the time, they will not be able to get stamping in their embassy or consulate and get back. So many people lose track of it. So they are coming up with suggestions and recommendations and saying that like stamping can be done in US itself, not from outside. So those changes are they are trying to make, right? They are trying to make that more glamorous and try to keep this, because they know that like some people are making noise here and there, like not just us, other people are also fighting it out and filing a lawsuit and saying that like the discrimination is happening and we should not be country specific. All these things are happening, all right? So we will be diluted, right? The more noise we make, the more impact we are going to create. We will be diluted in different ways, saying that like, okay, now they have made it better, and Mohammed is the right person to answer that. The reason is, as a lawyers, the lawyers thrive on these things because it is their livelihood as well. It is their profession, because they want cases. So this country is built on suing people for simple things. And that way like they will argue that like this is in favor of immigrants and also the other way around. So there is no end to it, right? So it's an ongoing war, it will never end. So that's how like I see that. But we just have to take breaks and we have to reassess ourselves and see like how we can do this cautiously as well as like in a protected manner, right? We don't want like to just blow this off. We are not suicide bombers, right? I'll say that like openly.
Yes.
It's like it's not one time poof, it's go, it's off and we don't exist, and they will be happy and they will move on. The simple thing, right? What is happening? Small kids are being killed in the gun violence. I don't know if you guys have heard that.
Yes.
It is happening over and over again. Why would any kid will be allowed to purchase an AR rifle, right? A weapon that has to be used by the military people alone. Why do you commercialize and allow public to buy that and then make a cry that like this is happening? So it is all in our mindset. We don't know where do we stand in each of these issues, and that is where the struggle and problem comes in. So let's take a pause, and as I promised last week, I'll play this out and this was as Shiva's favorite, right? So he said like, okay, people have to volunteer, they should not get paid. And these girls helped us out in building our Google Ads grant. And I interviewed them. I'm just going to play that out and then we can share our thoughts. You all want to give us a report or what's going on? How was your journey and what is the learning curve you had?
Okay, Yasmin, can you share your screen or someone else?
Yes, I will.
So we made a little pre-report, post-report presentation, and we can discuss what we did. Yes, so as you know, we are Google addicts, and today we want to show you the results from the campaign that we made. But before we start, is it possible to record that video call for school?
Yes, absolutely. Can do that.
Thank you. Okay, so first of all, what went well? So the clicks and CTR from the website increased, but also the impressions and the optimization score of the campaign. What could have gone better are the conversion, and later in this presentation, there is more information about it. So after our previous meeting, we made a pre-campaign report where we wrote down a few goals that we had derived from our conversation. These goals were to create awareness, to increase donations and sponsoring, but also to recruit new volunteers and partners. So how did we try to achieve these goals? So in Google Ads, we changed your campaign and tried to make it better a little bit. So we tried to maximize the click splitting strategy, which worked. We received way more clicks. We improved the headlines, descriptions, and the keywords too, which led to an impressive result. We reached almost 60,000 impressions, but we couldn't convince people to donate. So there was not any conversion, which means that only really our first goal, so to create awareness, was reached. But we made some progress here, and now Charlotte is going to tell you something more about that.
So as you can see here, we made a little schedule with the goals, the pre-campaign, the post-campaign, and the change rates. So the goal we set up for the clicks was 1,000, because in the pre-campaign we saw that it was only 68 now on the 15th of November. So in the post-campaign, when we finished the campaign, this was nearly 3,800. So this is a very positive change with a change rate of 4,344%. When we have a look at the CTR, so the click-through rate, we set up the goal of 4.5%. In the pre-campaign, this was 3.36. And there we also had a change rate of almost 190%. So this goal is also achieved. But then when we have a look at the conversion rate, we set up 2.5% as the goal and the conversion value of 4%, but neither of these were achieved, as you can see. But my colleagues will go further into that.
So we tried to make people more aware of your organization with our ad groups, which definitely worked. If you look at the results that Charlotte just showed, they were quite impressive. We designed our campaigns by actually just adjusting the ad groups by just adjusting the ad groups, especially, that was the word I was switching, especially the one you already had up there. We changed the keywords into relevant ones, and we did our best to maximize the click splitting strategy. Now, because we had no conversion, we would like to advise you to maybe define a specific target group, because the first time and the last time we talked, you guys did not have like a very specific group of people you wanted to target. So we definitely advise you to define it so that you can concentrate yourself on those people. We would also advise you to use relevant keywords in future campaigns, maybe the same ones we used today, or using the ones that Google already gives as tips in the Google Keyword Planner. And we would advise you to continue to keep your website up to date so that the people who come to check on your website are more inclined to go further into the conversion.
When I can add something to what Jasmine just was mentioning, maybe you can go back to the previous slide if that's possible. Yes, so to continue to keep your website updated, this is also one backend thing about Google Analytics. When your website is up to date and regularly changed, the SEO will be higher normally. So that's why we gave this as a tip for the future.
Then finally, we would like to give you some recommendation on how to perform even better in the future. The first one is improve your landing page quality. The second one is add a pop-up to the website to increase the conversion rate. For example, like subscribe to our newsletter or donate now. The third one is to improve mobile responsiveness of the website. And the last one is make use of live chat on your website so that donors can contact you at any time with any question. This was our presentation about our findings from your website. So are there any questions?
Wonderful. I really thank you so much for your team's effort. And this is a real eye-opener for us. Like for the first time, we are trying to work on with the Google Ads grant and also setting up and reviewing all these things. It's a big task, and we really appreciate that to your team, and kudos to your team doing a good job. And we did saw a good traffic coming in on the back end, and our freelancers and volunteers who are working on the site, as you mentioned, those are the things on our list. We are working on that, and it's a work in progress. Again, that is something we have to take it forward in the long run. And because of this traffic increase, I would say like we had some social media presence where people started viewing our YouTube channel, and that provided us an opportunity to partner with YouTube as well. And now we are a partnered channel with YouTube to make conversions and monetize our videos as well. So that's a good effort, and that happened because of you all did a good work. And
Thank
that's
you.
all I had. Thank you so much. Any other questions? Anything out of the syllabus you want to share? Personally, how was your experience?
Well, I think it was a great experience to learn all the tricks and the little things about the Google Google Ads account, and to have like a real business instead of seeing it theoretically always. And yeah, I think the results can speak for themselves. They were pretty good. The awareness part, I'm talking then. So it was nice to see for us that our efforts really made a change in the campaign.
Like even for us, it was all a little bit new, especially in the beginning. But it was nice to be able to learn while doing and actually seeing results so that you know that you're actually doing something right.
Yeah, I think that too. And what Charlotte mentioned, doing something practical and not only seeing the technical or the theoretical part of it, but also take it to the next level and really do it in the real world. And that was something that we never done before, and it was quite amazing and quite nice.
So anything else anyone wants to add?
It was nice working with you guys. You were always really quickly in emails and stuff like that. So that's very nice.
Yeah, we heard from other groups that they had a lot of complications with their with the company they work with, and we had quite a good conversation with you and quick responses, and it was really nice working with you.
Yes.
Wonderful. I appreciate that, and thank you so much. And actually, we wanted like to bring in a competition. One other team, a group of students, university students like you from Germany, they reached out and they said like we wanted to work on this project as well. And I told that like there is a group of girls who are doing it, and they wanted your permission to look into how you all are doing and compare that, and they wanted like to do better. And I said, like, that won't be fair unless I talk to them and get the permission. But anyway, you have winded up your effort. Right now, with this report, with all your permission, I can share that to them, and probably I'll see like how the boys are doing now. If you are interested in the future, I will update you what they did just for comparison.
Yeah, that's lovely.
You all are from Belgium, right? If I'm not wrong.
Yes.
Awesome. All right. And you all are welcome to, it's an open platform, and Staff Now is a non-profit, you all know that. If you want to jump in on any of our calls in YouTube channel, and you want to talk about your experience, you all are welcome to do it. And we do it on weekends. And I'm just opening the door and welcoming everyone. So you are welcome to come and share your experience.
That's great, Kim. Thank you.
So with that, anything else before we can wrap up this call?
Not from our side, I guess.
Okay, nothing. Then that's good. And I will share my feedback. If anything else I need to do, I'll do from my side. You all have a wonderful evening and a good night. And
Thank you.
good luck with your career and best of luck with your studies.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
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 So that was it. And we have come to end of this week episode. You guys have any final comments? How did we started and how did we ended so far?
Yeah, I think we are on the track. I thought like we gone somewhere from the track, but we are still in the track. So I'm fine with it. We can pass for a 3 to month, and maybe we'll continue it.
Shiva, you're just too emotional.
No.
Again, we get emotional, right? So when we see strangers and a group of young students coming and volunteering and helping us out, and whatever we did so far, it is all a culmination of all the emotions coming together, right? For us, saying that like we did something great, though it's not becoming a viral or creating a huge impact all of a sudden, right? But we are, as we are progressing in the right track, that is all is needed. And it's a long journey, right? It's not that simple for us.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate you all joining today. And we had a wonderful conversation, and it ended as a heated debate, making him to convince like, okay, we are on track. And definitely we need to realign and reassess as often like we are going in this journey, because we can be sidetracked, we can lose track of it, and so many things can happen, and I don't want like to lose any of them. And also it should be on a goodwill and continue to, if not now, maybe later after a few months or years, we all have to cherish and come back and talk together, right? So that is the whole point of doing this.
I really enjoyed
Okay.
working with you, and I really learned many things from you people. Okay, let's see what happens.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for today, and we'll hope we will meet after a month.
Yes, certainly, right? I
Hope
mean,
so.
Mohammed,
Yeah.
Amar, Shiva, thank you all.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.